What is up, my friends? Welcome back to my humble little YouTube channel known as RAF Sense. I'm Jesse, if you don't already know, which I'm sure probably all of you do, but if you don't, I'm super happy to have you with me. Now, I made a video about this about 6 or 7 months ago and loved it. Such a great topic, and I figured it was time to bring it back out and talk about it yet again. And this is going to be actually some new territory for a few of you, I'm pretty sure, because we're going to be talking about perfume as well as cologne. And why are we doing this? Because it is such a cool thing for you to go out on a date or to be hanging out with somebody and they wear a fragrance that complements the same fragrance that you are wearing. It is such a great concept. So we're going to be talking about 5 pairs of fragrances that work well together. I hope you're ready to learn something new because this is going to be good. Let's go. Now, before we start, let me say this. If you are a young lady out there watching this video, I'm super happy to have you with me, and I'm going to talk about the fragrances that you could be wearing to complement your man. However, we have to be realistic and know that about 95% of my audience are gentlemen. So I'm also talking to the gentleman in the fact of buying a gift for your significant other. So, play it as you will, but these are all worth a purchase. So we're going to start off with inexpensive fragrances that are summer oriented. And guys, this is a really, really good one for us to wear to the beach, wear when it's really, really hot outside, and you're not going to break the bank when you buy it. This is Tommy Bahama St. Bart's. This is a very commonly found fragrance when you go to a rack store like TJ Maxx, Ross, Marshall's. And you can find it for about $20 or $25, but it is really, really good. So it's got some top notes of lime, agave, tequila, some C notes. It's a little bit salty with some guava and some other green notes in there, but if you're kind of seeing what I'm hinting at, this smells like a really good margarita. Now, the downside of this is that it is an eau de cologne strength fragrance, so it's only going to last about 4 hours, but it is very loud. Now, what are you going to pair this with? Well, ladies, if you're paying attention, or guys, if you are looking to buy something for your lady, this is another inexpensive fragrance from Britney Spears. It is Britney Spears Island Fantasy. This is actually a really good line of fragrances. And by the way, I did steal most of these from my wife. And so she's gracious enough to lend out a few fragrances from her collection. But this one right here, it is a super sweet but tropical smelling fragrance. Very sweet top notes with some watermelon, some mandarin orange, clementine, and some berries. And as it dries off, you're going to have some jasmine, some violet, some sugar, and musk. But all of that together, this smells like a nice tropical type of fragrance for those of you, young ladies, if you've ever been out at the beach or in a beach atmosphere where you can wear like a camisole and some really comfortable clothes, this is going to match that type of tropical vibe. But these go very well together. They're about the same price range. They last about the same time, have the same type of intensity. This one's going to be a little more intense when you spray it on, but this one's going to have just a little bit more longevity. So take it for what it's worth. Tommy Bahama St. Bart's and Britney Spears Island Fantasy. Next up, my friends, we have a pair of fragrances for those of you guys that like to go out for casual days during the fall, winter, or spring months. Yeah, these fragrances, they can work during the summertime, but they really do struggle if it's blazing hot or if it's really humid outside. So guys, our fragrance is going to be Mont Blanc Emblem Absolute. This is a really unique fragrance, especially for Mont Blanc, because it is a sweet, earthy fragrance. You don't get sweet, earthy fragrances anywhere. When you first spray it on, you've got some mandarin orange, some pear, a little bit of cardamom, and some fruity notes in honey, things like that. But as it dries off, and especially right there in the heart notes, you've got some lavender, some patchouli, some vetiver, and some moss. It kind of has like an old rustic log cabin type of feel to it. At least that's what I get whenever I spray it on. But it is a great value for the money. You're only going to be paying about $35 to $40 for this one. And because of those earthy notes, it's a little bit dry. It's not very rich. So that's kind of why it can work for the springtime. The richer and more dense your fragrance is, the less, the less it's going to perform, or the worse it's going to perform during the summer months. Now, ladies, to pair with this one, we're going to go with a fragrance from Michael Malal. This is called 508 Nightfall. It's a really, really good fragrance that has some of that sweet opening with some apricot and bergamot, but in the heart notes, you've got some floral things like some jasmine and orange blossom. But here's the really cool part. The base notes of these fragrances are nearly identical. There's also some patchouli and moss in here, but instead of vetiver, you've got vanilla as another base note. So very, very similar vibes in these. I did spray some on my skin just to see how well it would do. And I will be honest with you, starting off, this is a little bit mature because those floral notes along with the apricot and bergamot, they really, really do jump off of your skin quite a bit. But after it dries down, that's when you get that vanilla, the patchouli, and the moss, and it smells very, very similar to this one. I think these two go beautifully together. Now, the difference is going to be in the price. The longevity is the same, the performance is the same, but for this one, you're going to be looking at $35, $40, $45. With the Michael Malal, this is a little bit more of an exclusive brand, so you're going to find this probably north of $70, okay? $70, $80, $85. I think I actually got this one from a store. Okay, I did pay retail price for this for about $90, but it's a really great fragrance. My wife loves to wear it, but these two go very well together. The Michael Malal 508 Nightfall and the Mont Blanc Emblem Absolute. Here we are at fragrance pairing number 3, and I've got to tell you, this one is absolute fire. One of my favorite things in the world is spoiling my wife. I love buying things for her. I love taking her on expensive date nights, things like that. And that is exactly the type of vibe that this fragrance combo has. And so, gents, this first fragrance is going to be one that you want to wear for this type of night. I just talked about this in my last video, but I don't care. It is so freaking good. It is from Givenchy. It is Gentleman Reserve Privé. Oh, I love this one. I think I said in my last video that no matter what, I will always have this one in my collection. So you're supposed to smell some bergamot when you spray it on. I myself don't get too much of that. The 3 main notes that stand out to me are iris, whiskey, and woody notes. There is some chestnut and some amber in there, kind of giving it a bit of a gourmand feel, but it's not quite as gourmandy as it sounds. Rather, the iris gives it this light and vibrant feel, while the whiskey and the woody notes give it a manly, masculine type of vibe. Overall, when I spray this on, I feel like I'm a millionaire. Straight up, I feel like I'm a millionaire, and I feel like people are looking at me and are being envious of me. That's how this fragrance makes me feel. But ladies, there is a fragrance that absolutely meets this vibe from the House of Dior. It is my favorite female fragrance of all time. It is Dior Hypnotic Poison. I said that weird, Hypnotic Poison. And oh my God. It is a very opulent gourmand, okay? It's got some sweet notes of coconut, plum, and apricot on top. And then as it dries off, you got some vanilla, almond, and sandalwood on the bottom, mixed in with a couple floral notes like lily and rose. But the almond kind of gives it a powdery feel, not too powdery or whatever, but it's a sweet powdery in a very, very pleasant way. And I'm telling you what, when you take this and you mix it with that, people will think that you're a couple that was just meant to be together. You know, that is the type of, I don't want to say alpha vibe. I don't like going for that type of thing, but all the attention is on you as a couple when you wear these two fragrances together. So guys, Reserve Privé 100%. Ladies, Hypnotic Poison. By the way, the performance is very good on both of these, but you do have to be ready to spend some money. This one's going to be about $100, as is this fragrance right here as well. But for For the type of money that you're looking to spend on these expensive date nights, you got to go with these two. So there you go. For this next pairing of fragrances, we're going with ones that are no-brainers. They're easy reaches. You know, when we talk about pairing fragrances together, I know it sometimes takes some planning, but when you have these easy reach fragrances, sometimes when you're not thinking about it, it can still work out, and these two actually work well together. So guys, our fragrance is going to be Jimmy Choo Man Intense. I haven't talked about this one very much on this channel, but this is actually my favorite of the entire Jimmy Choo line. I've tried the Jimmy Choo Ice, the Jimmy Choo Blue. This one right here, this one wins. It's got some top notes of mandarin orange, some melon, and lavender. That's going to be one fragrance note that both of these fragrances share. And you've got some geranium right there in the middle, and then some tonka bean, patchouli, and labdanum. A little bit floral right down at the bottom. But this is kind of like a mix, I would say, between Dior Sauvage and YSL Y Eau de Parfum. A little bit spicy, a little bit sweet, definitely blue. But it's a really good and really easy to wear fragrance. But for the ladies, we're going to go with YSL. This is going to be Yves Saint Laurent Libre, the Eau de Toilette. Now, the Eau de Parfum is going to be a little bit deeper than this, and it is so freaking good. But this one right here, it is very light, it is very likable, and it doesn't scream attention or whatever. It's just very casual. You've got some black currant, some lavender, and mandarin orange on the top. A little bit floral with some orange blossom and jasmine, and then vanilla, cedar, and ambergris right there on the bottom. So as you can see, it's not very deep, it's not very dense, and it's just all around a good casual fragrance. I would say this is sort of like something like Mont Blanc Individual for guys. Even though we're not pairing it with Mont Blanc Individual, it's that type of fresh. But this one is going to be a little bit cheaper. The Jimmy Choo Man Intense for the guys at about $50 to $60, while the Libre, this one runs pretty expensive. If you're going for the full 100 ml bottle, you're going to be looking at about $85 to $90. The other thing about the Jimmy Choo Man Intense, this one does not last very long. We're talking 5 to 5.5 hours. So you gotta have the proper expectations with this one. The Libre, this one lasts about 7 hours, okay? The hotter it is outside, remember, the hotter it is outside, the less it's going to perform, okay? The heat makes the fragrance wear off of your skin a little bit faster. But there you go, Jimmy Choo Man Intense and YSL Libre. Last up on the list, guys, we have a fragrance pairing for those of you guys that just like to have fun with each other, you know, things that are just nonchalant, they're not too serious, and this is a pairing that's actually really special to me because it's inspired by my daughters, Rylan and Ashlyn. We love to cut up, we love to make fun of each other, we crack jokes, we laugh at anything, we have so many inside jokes, it's not even funny. But they've gotten into some fragrances over the last year or two, and I've tried to wear certain things to kind of pair with them. But this one in particular that they have, especially my older daughter, absolutely loves this fragrance. This particular one that I wear goes perfectly with it. So guys, check out Polo Red Extreme. This is a good, mature, sweet fragrance that I think is like the mature version of Versace Eros. It's got blood orange, some ebony wood, and coffee. Yes, coffee. And I love the coffee scent in here. It really, really makes it pop. Now, this fragrance, I believe, has been discontinued, so it's becoming a little bit more and more difficult to find. But I do recommend, if you see it, definitely pick it up. Now, this fragrance is going to pair with the female fragrance here because this one is also quite a bit gourmandish, but it is super good. And it is a celebrity fragrance, a celebrity that my oldest daughter absolutely loves. It is Billie Eilish. This is her first release. She does have Billie Eilish #2, which definitely leans more masculine and smells phenomenal. But this one right here, I myself love. I think it smells absolutely amazing, and I was kind of disappointed that there were a few people in the fragrance community that harped on this one a little bit as being too simplistic or whatever, but myself, it is a head turner for me. So it's got some top notes of some mandarin orange, and some sugar and red berries, but it's got some vanilla, some chocolate, amber, tonka bean, and a little bit of rose in there as well. So you can see, especially by that chocolate, by that sugar, the vanilla, that it's got a very, very edible component. But it's really fun. And these two, I can't even talk. The coffee in this one kind of makes this one feel a little bit gourmandy. So when you pair it with this one, they absolutely work perfectly together. So the Billie Eilish these days, you can get a 50 milliliter bottle for about $60, $65. Now, I purchased this one for $75. And that was about 2 years ago. So now that it's becoming discontinued, you may be looking at paying anywhere north of $80 to $90 for this one. But they both last about 6 to 7 hours. They are more suited for the fall and wintertime, definitely for the nighttime of those fall and winter months. But you've got the Polo Red Extreme and you have Billie Eilish. These two go very well together. Listen, guys, I'm going to be honest with you. Pairing fragrances with another can be quite challenging and sometimes frustrating. It's not like you're spraying 2 fragrances on your skin and trying to layer them. You know, you can make whatever work. But when you're trying to wear something based on what another person is wearing, you're trying to match their vibe, you're trying to match their energy, it is a lot easier said than done. But I promise you, if you stick with it, it can be very rewarding, and it can just bring about a different sense of fun and adventure with you and a partner. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Be sure to like and subscribe. Share my videos. Comment anything that you want to comment. Reach out to me on my other social media channels, and let's talk. I love you guys. I'll see you next time.